Hello and welcome to Wavedata. Today I'm going to take you into the Wavedata Live service and give you an introduction to that. A couple of things to say at the very beginning. The first one is that your browser doesn't matter which one you're using, but that pop-ups being enabled is very helpful because a lot of our websites do use pop-ups. So the login is on wavedata.co.uk. The login button is up top right here, as you can see. So if I click on that, then the various services appear along with the login. So let's just select one I've set up earlier, and slightly further down the page you'll see each of our services come up with a login button there. That does mean that you can jump backwards and forwards between the various services. So the top one is Wavedata Live, so let's click on that one and explain that the Wavedata Live service is very much about keeping you up to date with the offers and prices paid by dispensing doctors and retail pharmacies over the last 35 days, and about 100,000 prices are put in each month. There's a good old lump of data and lots to explore to find out what your competitors are doing. So it's very much about what's happening right now and keeping you completely up to date. The two services that actually list here is the UK prices are visible by default with the UK flag at the top, but the Irish data is also in there as well. You can swap backwards and forwards by clicking on the Irish flag. 90% of our users actually use the product report, so let's talk about that one first. So in this one, you enter the first 4 or more characters of your product name that you want to investigate. I'm going to look at nortriptyline. So naught is probably sufficient, but I'll type in nortrip, and then you click next, and then it gives you a list of the different products that match your text search, and you can choose any of those. The number of lines at the end that displays there tells you two things. It tells you, one, how many prices we've actually got for that product, competitor prices. It also tells you if you're using credits rather than on a platinum open usage subscription, how many credits you're going to use by running that report. So if we choose one of these at random, the 100 10 milligram pack of tablets, that will display that. So the various fields that are showing up on the form here is the first one is obviously the name of the product, which has the manufacturer after it. The second one is actually quantity. That is basically the quantity that were bought on an invoice. So you see that we use green color coding for invoices here. Brown color coding represents dispensing doctor data, and we'll see others as we go. The third field is obviously the name of the supplier. Then you have the country it was offered or sold into, the date, the price, which is ranked with the lowest price at the top by default. Then you have dispensing doctor and pharmacy, and you have whether it was a price list or an invoice. If we scroll down the page a little bit, we can see that the data goes on quite a way, and you can see some pink lines as well, which are reimbursement prices. So we hold drug tariff, we hold the concession prices for generics, and we hold the brand list prices as well. So the kind of products you're going to find in this services include generics, as we're looking at now, but we'll look at parallel imports later on, and we also have device information in here as well. The filter options you have at the top of each of the products do allow you to actually search for things. So if we looked for, let's look for RIA, that will find you RIA. But you can also actually look for individual products. So if you said you wanted the 10 milligram, you can do that and just make sure that was only included. So you have a lot of filtering ability there. Again, here you could type elite and find just the elite offers. And you can do the same with the country and with all the other fields as well. The one that's worth knowing about is the one at the end, the data type. If you just want the market data, so you click on invoice, and then you have to hold the control key down and click price lists, and that will give you everything barring the reimbursement prices. So that's a quick tip for that one. You click the X to turn it off. You also have a free text search box here, so you can search for anything on the page, and that will find you whatever you're looking for. Get rid of it and it goes back to everything again. You also have an export functionality here, so you can drop data into various different formats. Copy to the clipboard is the top one, which is usually easiest, and then you can paste that into Excel. The way to go backwards and forwards in the website is this little browser bar, this little menu bar here. So if I wanted to look for a second product, then you could actually click on that. So let's click on that and let's look for something completely different now. So let's look for Prograph. There we go, let's choose that and then say next. So here we're looking at branded products rather than generics, and we could actually look here at Prograph 160 and see if we can see some parallel import data rather than generics as we did previously. Again, we're using color coding here, so you see the brown is dispensing doctor. There's a kind of peach color that turns up when it's a parallel import. PI stands for parallel import, means it's brought into the UK from outside. And again, you can filter the data. One thing that's also worth saying is you can actually rank the data, re-rank the data by clicking on a column heading. You can do that with any of them. It just saves time when you're trying to do it in Excel. It's a little bit quicker to do it in here. It's also worth saying, if you go back to product select, you go back to your list of products you're actually looking at, all of those products on this particular screen are listed as parallel imports. If we go back to the product select and we look for the 150 capsule, we see some PE turning up in yellow here. What that represents is parallel export offers made to pharmacies by various organisations for export from the UK. So if you're a brand manager working for a branded company, then this is a useful way to keep up to date with what's going on out there. Going back to the menu button again, so we go back to the very beginning. I'll briefly introduce you to the other reports. The primary one that is used in addition to the product report is supplier. If I click on the drop down here, you can see you can choose from quite a number of different suppliers who are supplying the UK or the Irish market. There are a handful that are worth knowing about. Drug tariff means you can download the drug tariff that's been published in the last 35 days. In there, if I click on it and say next, you should also see, as well as drug tariffs for various countries, you should see concessions, NCSO concessions at the bottom there, which tells you additional amounts that the NHS are paying for medicines that are in short supply. If I go back to the supplier box again and use this again and go down to list prices, these are also reimbursement prices, but for branded products. We've got almost 8,000 in there, so that will turn up in the product report if you search for a particular brand. But that's probably all you need to know for now as a general introduction. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.